Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Not all people can pass the wealth. Let's start our video with a story about such a man for whom our OP happened to work. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Celebrity Bugaboo. Many years ago, I worked closely with a celebrity on his TV show. It was a first-season show. No one knew who he was when we shot it. But by the time Season 1 had finished airing, he was on his way to fame and stardom. And by Season 2, he was making big bucks. I worked very closely with him and had a fairly significant job on his show. He could be difficult at times, but overall we got along well. And as we wrapped Season 2, I let him and the rest of the crew know some exciting news. My wife and I were having our first child. Now let's back up for a moment. For those who haven't had a child themselves, there's this shopping period before the baby's born where you end up getting all the stuff you need. Crib, blankets, bottles, clothing, and a stroller or two. And while there are plenty of strollers in the $100 to $300 range, at that moment in history, the hottest, fanciest stroller was clearly the Bugaboo. This thing was high-tech design, super versatile, lightweight, comfy for baby and parents alike, and it cost upwards of $800. So my wife and I marveled at it in the store and then bought the $200 model, because I'm neither rich nor stupid. With the stroller taken care of, we didn't bother adding another stroller to our registry, which is why it was so surprising when a package was delivered to our home. We opened it up, and there was our very own Bugaboo, the iPhone of strollers. I'm telling you, this thing was amazing. We had to watch a video to really learn how to put this thing together. But it was so much better than our cheapo stroller, and we were thrilled to have it. It was a gift from the celebrity, a very nice and very surprising gift, because as rich as he was also on the cheap side. I mean, even years later, he'd call everyone in for a production meeting, order pizzas for everyone, and collect cash from everyone there to split the cost. This is after he'd built his $10 million home. I'm not exaggerating. And that'd be the end of the story, except here we are in the Malicious Compliance sub, so let's jump to the good part. As many celebrities do, this guy had a personal assistant. It makes sense, celebs can be legitimately busy all the time, and they need someone trusted to help with the day-to-day. Her name was Jennifer, or maybe it wasn't, but I'm going to call her that because it's a common name. So even if it is her real name, which it totally is, it won't be a particularly useful clue to figuring out who the celebrity is. Lots of personal assistants out in the world, many of whom are named Jennifer. This Jennifer was great, very cool, and she was smart as hell and great at her job. And eventually she sold a project of her own and gave her notice. It was time for her to leave. By eventually, what I really mean is, right as Season 2 was wrapping up, and my wife and I were having our baby, and her celebrity boss told her to buy me the nicest stroller they make. He'd never had a kid, so he assumed it'd be maybe $200, and on any other day, when she saw the $800+ price tag, she'd have wisely purchased a cheaper model for her cheaper boss. But she had nothing to lose. It was her last week of work, she'd already sold the other project, so she obeyed his request to the last penny and bought us the nicest stroller you could get. He was pissed when he found out, but by then I'd assembled it and thanked him and, well, he yelled at Jen a bit, but she didn't care. And of course, the celebrity never said a word to me. The damage was already done. That Bugaboo lasted for both my kids, and when our youngest had outgrown it, I made sure to extend the malicious compliance just a little bit further. I gave it to another former crew member who just had a baby of her own. Her name was also Jennifer. Or was it? His one overpriced gift that he never wanted to buy has done triple duty so far. Maybe one day it'll go for 4. And our second story. Let's try beating the system. Background. This happened in my country, Southeast Asia, where labor laws don't apply that much, and it's practically the wild, wild west when it comes to working in a corporate environment. Premise. This happened 10 years ago where I worked in an IT company. It's shift work where I work 2 days and then I get 2 days off, so 15 days in total. I like working there, but what I didn't like is how HR treated their workers. If you wanted to quit your job, you need to give 2 months' notice and they withhold your pay till close to quitting time or pay 2 months' salary to quit right away. This makes it very troublesome to anyone looking for a new job and needs to give notice. 8 months before my contract needs to be renewed, my wife was applying to study abroad for 5 years. Her company approved and we got a paid scholarship for the whole family. We're leaving 1 month after my contract is due, so I'll be unemployed for a month. So I had 8 months to prepare. For a tech company, their HR is still using pen and paper and leaves need to be submitted in written form for record-keeping purposes. So I started to plan to apply for leave on the month before my contract expires but start 8 months from now. I just give my boss the form and he signed it with no questions asked. Did it for around 15 times. I have 21 days leave. So I got the whole month covered, which you actually can't do, but it was way in advance and no one checks the system. The last month of working, I didn't show up to work. My boss called me and I told him I've already applied for leave that you approved. HR checked and there was quite angry at the boss for approving the leave. So I got 1 month break with pay. My HR called me on the day of my contract renewal. I said I'm out of town, which I'm not, and I'll come in just right after payday. Once payday arrives, I come in the office and told her I wouldn't be continuing my contract and I'll be leaving now. Her face was priceless, and she was fuming that she didn't get to stick it to me. Edit. The reason I took my last month off is due to the fact that the HR will ask me to sign my new contract on the final month of me working there. If I'd said no, they will start the paperwork of me leaving and my pay will be withheld. And our last story. Entitled neighbor wants to know what I'm doing in my own home, then demands I stop so I can do an errand for her in the morning. Crazy Pants, CP, was my incredibly nosy and entitled neighbor with 2 adult children who were spoiled and greedy. This woman seriously believed she was in charge of everyone on my street. A little background here. Years ago, I moved back home to help my mom look after my dad as she was struggling. My dad has multiple conditions, angina, diabetes, and arthritis amongst them. Then sadly, my mom passed away, so dad was completely on his own. My dad could fill a subreddit all his own with stories as he has a foul mouth and is known for being a complete B-turd to people who annoy him. You'll see this later, but he can't get around like he used to and relies on me to keep him out of trouble and keep things ticking. Thankfully, because my job's from home, I can look after him. Now, sometimes the people I work for are based in other countries, so when I talk to them online, it can be late at night or early in the morning because of time difference. CP's children do not live with her. The daughter does not work while the son owns some sort of property near us and rents it out. They are very well off, having both married into money. Meanwhile, I don't get a lot of free time because I work, I'm a carer for the grumpiest yet somehow lovable git on the planet, and I have my own chronic illness on top. Now to the main story. I'd just been talking with the client. It was about 2 a.m. in the morning and I was downstairs. The living room light, of course, was on because I'm not an owl. I was typing up something when there was a banging on the door. I was worried, as we had in the past had drunks on the door mistaking our house for some friend's place, and you never know what they may do. I open it carefully and there's Crazy Pants. You can guess the key here. Crazy Pants. Excuse me, why are you awake? Me. Sorry? Crazy Pants. I want to know why you're awake. Me. Did we wake you or something? No noise has been made, and there was no way Crazy Pants would have seen our light on without leaving the house. In fact, she would often step out and do a late-night inspection of the street like she was looking for contraband. Crazy Pants. I don't think you should be up this late. Why are you up? Me. I don't think it's any of your business, but since you asked so sweetly, I'm working. Crazy Pants. But it's 2 a.m. Me. And it's my home. Are we now just pointing out random facts? Because this game is boring me. Crazy Pants. You should be asleep. Me. And yet here you are wide awake. Isn't it a miracle? We should form a club. Crazy Pants. I'm supposed to be going to the hairdresser's at 10 a.m. and I don't want you too tired. Now this has me super confused and I don't know how to respond for a few moments. Me. Excuse me. What does your hair appointment have to do with me? Crazy Pants. Well, I was going to get you to drive me to it. Edie and ES have important things to do, and you already do a lot for that very rude man. The least you can do as a neighbor is give me a lift. Me. What the? Are you completely off your rocker? Crazy Pants. What's the problem? You do stuff for your father all the time. Me. I would also like to point out I don't drive, let alone own a car, and even if I was up for letting you sit on the handlebars of my bike, why would I be taking you to the hairdressers? You have a daughter and a son with multiple fancy cars. Get one of them to take you, or get a taxi and stop bothering me over what I do in my own home. Crazy Pants. But they work. Like hell they do. I can't bother them. You're home all day. Me. I work from home. Like I was doing before you banged on the door. Now please go away. It was at that point I discovered my dad had been woken up and was now leaning out of the bedroom window listening to the whole thing. Dad. Crazy Pants, why don't you mind your own effing business and pee off? Crazy Pants scurries away upon the sight of Grumpy Dad's man nipples, and I go back inside. The next day, the daughter arrived to take Mother Dearest to the hairdresser. I was coming out to walk the dog and got death stares from them both. It was at this point my dad opened the living room window and shouted at Crazy Pants, Dad, and get your effing mustache waxed. Thanks for making it less awkward, Dad. The kids are married to money, XD, that's amazing. I would have straight up shut the door on her after I saw her face, but I love the way you and your dad dragged on the conversation. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.